Alright, so hopefully now microphone is working. It looks like I'm getting sound over there. And that thing doesn't look like it's working, so what I'm going to have to do is turn that off. And we'll turn that off. And we're going to add a screen capture. And I'm going to add it to like right, like so. Scroll down a bit, like that. Actually, let's go ahead and add a different screen capture. That one's not working. That's weird. Okay, I'll try to remove that one. Let's add screen capture again. I'm trying to get to where everyone can see what you guys are typing here. But it looks like it's not gonna, does not want to work. Remember, I got it to work last time. I know I can see you guys texting. What I'm trying to do though is I'm trying to get it to where the screenshot will show you guys texting. And right now it's not working for some reason. So I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna just try to do a whole entire screen capture. See if that works. How do I capture the whole screen? Let's try like this. See what happens. Huh, I can see my mouse going, but I can't see you guys. That sucks. I wanted the video to have you guys talking. If you meant by regs, if you mean like photos, yeah, I do photos as well. I have a photo growing right now. Like if you watch my recent updates, you'll see that I have a 3-pound grow going. I'm hoping it'll be 3 pounds or more with the Goliath, and it's all photos. If I had the time, I would do something like that, but this is to Adam. I just don't have time. I had someone not that long ago ask me to come out there and just consult, and even that was, you know, like $450, and I was only there for an hour. But even that hour, and I had to drive like an hour, but just that 3 hours on my time was a lot. Because I'm really busy. I run 2 businesses. I'm actually about to buy a business building, another business, either a business that's already going. But anyway, so yeah, I'm just super busy, so unfortunately, I don't have time to do those kinds of things. I would like to help people like that. I'm very, very high right now. Alright, let's see here. I'm trying to get it to you guys and see text. Let me see here. How do I do this here? This thing's supposed to work. Last time it worked. This it's like a I'm using XSplitter, and this thing is supposed to, you choose things and it's supposed to be able to show the text chat. But I'm even showing a screenshot and it's not even showing this screen for some reason. What if I do it like that? Let me try this one more time. No, it's not showing YouTube. Let's see here. Northern Lights Auto. What he will eat for first month. Oh, you mean it's all on my free grow. So just check out my either growpotcheaply.com or perfectsunled.com. I have my full free grow course on there. So, hey, what's up, Big John? And just check that out, and you can see everything you need to know. Pretty much every question that you're going to ask about how much to feed. It's all there. How much to feed for the first 8 days and so forth, and how to do it and all that. For me, I think the bloom booster I like right now, and I think is the best I've used, is Potash by Cycloflower Nutrients. It comes out of Australia. You have to buy it on Amazon. That's how I buy it. Should we start nutrient water after we take the seed from the brown bag? I do. The second I put the seedling out, I make sure it has a taproot on it. I make sure they're about 1 inch long or so. And what I do is I pull the taproot out of, so I, not pull it out, but I make sure it's not growing into the paper towel. I don't like that. But I take it and I take my rock one, I pull it in half, and I just lay it in there and put it back together again. Put that inside the cocoa, and right away from day one I start watering nutrients, right around 300 ppm or so. Oh, most of my lights are available in Australia. You just pay the UK price. Right now it's a little deceiving because it just says UK. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the site to where it says international, because I can ship my lights international now. All of them except for the door star is not quite ready. Excuse me, something in my throat. It's almost ready though. Well, it really depends when it comes to time difference between autos and normals. Oh, what's up, Texas? OG. So with photos, they typically, if you get a good like fast flowering one, you can get one that flower in 60 days, 65 days. So right around that time. So if you have 2 rooms and you want to do that, you can actually turn over faster than autos usually. But if you do a perpetual grow, you can do what's the benefit of autos I like is you can do a perpetual grow all in the same room. So you don't have to have two separate rooms. You can just have one room and do a perpetual grow in that one room. You can even do it like an 8x4 flood table. That's what I plan to do. I'm actually going to be I'm looking for a house right now to buy a house, because it's just too hard to do a perpetual grow when every year you have inspection and you have to take your whole entire grow down, like everything, and move it into a U-Haul truck, and that's just bull crap. So I don't want to do that no more. So I'm just going to buy a house, and that way I can just do my perpetual grow. I have tried a few. Like one of the crossings I did was with autos. I made my own auto seeds, and I crossed Think Different with Blue Mazar, or I think that's what they call it, by Dutch Passion, and it came out really cool. Like I called it Critical Blue, and it was pretty nice, but it wasn't super stable. I found that when you take 2 stable strains and then cross them together, that is autos, only one time, you get about a 75% stability. But if you cross the same plant with itself, then you get about almost the same stability as the original. It may be like 3% less stability, and so that's the way I recommend doing it if you want to make your own auto seeds. But as far as doing breeding and stuff, I'm just not really into that. I might maybe when I'm not working all the time and running businesses and I'm retired, then I'll have time for that. I can like just kick back and start breeding and come up with different shit and try to just come up with some mind-blowing strains. You can grow photos and autos in the same tent. I don't recommend it, because once you flip it over to 1212, sometimes it kind of freaks the autos out. Like one time, this was weird. One time I had some autos going, and I was hoping the autos would be done by time the regular or by time the photos were finished vegging. But what happened is they weren't finished. They had finished vegging, and they needed to be flipped over. They were getting too big. So I flipped it over to 1212, but the autos weren't done yet. Some of the autos flipped out and actually started re-vegging. Ain't that weird? So the autos were in 18.6, and they were in full flower. Matter of fact, they were almost done. And then I switched to 1212, and some of them started re-vegging on me. I'm like, why would it do that? Like, it makes no sense. Like the complete opposite of a photo. And so, yeah, I just don't recommend it. Also, even if you like, let's say you have a flower room dedicated to 1212, I've grown autos in 1212 before, just from start to finish, and they just don't get very big and they don't get very dense. It's not worth doing. If you're going to grow autos, do 18.6 the whole grow. So your Lucas Formula, General Hydroponics, 3-part series. I'm planning to use Flora Grow and Bloom. I will hard water cocoa. Sorry, I will hand water cocoa. Is it viable? Yeah, it is. You can totally do that. The Lucas Formula, I actually used that Lucas Formula for about a year, maybe a year and a half, and I liked it a lot. It worked really good. I did deep horticulture with it. I did flood drain cocoa with it, and it works really good. Some autos do have low THC, but some of them now are getting really powerful. Fast Buds Gorilla Glue is absolutely mind-blowing. No one knew it was an auto. No one. They were just like, whoa, this is some really strong weed. The 6-shooter by Fast Buds was good. I got a lot of Mephisto genetics going, and I don't know if you've seen my latest picture on Instagram of Walter White. Walter White still's got like 20 days to go or so. And Walter White looks white. It's insane. Even if those buds don't dense up, which I think they will, but even if they don't, and they say kind of like more like a sativa fluffy bud, it'll be super smoke, just awesome smoke. And some people don't care that the bud structure, and if they do, no big deal. I think they'll make a great plant for making oil. So and that's pretty much all my fiance smokes is oil. So it makes some great oil. You can find Gorilla Glue number 4. Just find reputable seed sources that sell fast buds. And that's the Auto Fast Buds C company. And some ideas would be go to 420magazine.com and then click on their sponsors. I've always bought seeds to their sponsors, and they're always reputable. Just some of the ones I recommend is Herbie's, Gorilla, and GYO seeds. They're all sponsored on there. Hey Neil, if I'm in cocoa, do I have to water every day, or can I go by feel of the medium? I personally water every single day to run off. That's how I do cocoa. I know it sounds scary. I was scared at first when I first tried it. I'm like, oh man, because it went against everything I knew about growing, or that I learned about growing from people like Jorge Cervantes and stuff. And so I'm like, this has got to be wrong. It just can't be right. But I saw grows done that way, and I'm like, okay, it's working for them. So I just said, fuck it. If they die, they die, and tried it. And I'm so glad I did, because that was my best grow ever in cocoa. And from that moment on, I never stopped. I water every single day. Definitely watch my free course, day 1 through 8. It's really important how I water day 1 through 8. It's something I learned the hard way. But you don't want to water to run off at first. You want to wait till they develop a root system. For about anywhere from like 8 to 14 days, let them develop a root system. I only water with like 2 ounces of water at first, just enough to keep the Rockwell cube moist every day. And then once I can tell they're growing and they're a decent size, usually it takes for me about 8 days, but for some people it might 1 milliliter of CalMag, sometimes 2 milliliters of CalMag, and they get okay, so my internet's kind of going goofy. Hey babe, are you on the internet? Yeah. Okay. Just fine. I don't know. Sometimes I get lame internet up here. That's the only reason why I want to move, because I want to get like fiber optic internet, and I can't get it up here in the mountains. So yeah, Newt's every watering. So I start with about 300 ppm or so. And day 1 through 8, I use bloom. That's a little trick I got to make the roots grow faster. Seriously, someone says I put my clones in April. When will they flower out? It depends. So do you mean like you put them outside? If you put them outside and you're anywhere in America, they're going to start flowering. Hopefully for you sometime in August, early August, if you get lucky. See here. Yeah, I'm scared to do it. Don't be scared, man. Just do it. Just try it. Try it on one plant only. If you're really worried about it. If it dies, it dies, right? I can tell you it won't die. As long as you just follow it and do it right, it's not going to die. It's going to love it. Make sure you have good drainage. I might be having frame drop. That's what it said. So maybe my internet kind of has to refix itself. Hopefully it fixes itself. Let's see here. Did it fix itself or no? The internet, that is. When do you use PK Boost, Bloom Monster, and how many times? I no longer use Monster Bloom anymore, or Moab. Now I use Potash by Cycloflower, because I like the higher potassium that it has versus the higher potassium and phosphorus. So it has a higher potassium ratio than phosphorus, and a lot of times that's not the case with like Monster Bloom and stuff. So I just found it works better for me. But either way, I mean, I used Monster Bloom for a long time. It worked great. But basically, right when I start to see them flowering, I give them PK Boost for about 3 days to 5 days, and then I do it again in about 2 weeks, and then I do it again in about 2 weeks, and again in about 2 weeks. That's usually what I do. Usually I do it 4 times, sometimes only 3 times. I used to use sugar, molasses, all kinds of sweeteners. I've tested over the years different sweeteners, side by side test, and I came to a conclusion that it makes no fucking difference at all. It's all in the head. It's all because what I do, I like doing blind tests. I don't. I'm very scientific in my approach, and I have a very skeptic scientific brain. And so how I do it is like, okay, I'm going to take this, this, let's say it's take the exact same strain, exact same clone, and let's grow them out. Feed one sugar and don't feed the other one any sugar at all. And then go have someone smoke it, and don't tell them which one's what or what you did. Just here, smoke these. Do you notice the difference? And get their feedback. If you tell them what you did, thanks, man. I appreciate that, Mo Green. I'm trying to figure out how to get you guys so we can see your guys' text. It used to work, this thing. I guess I'm going to go find the new chat extension thing for this program that allows it to where you get and see it. We can see it, but what I don't understand is why the screen capture is not working. It should work. It's really weird. Let me see. Let me try to go like this. Let's see if this picks it up. I don't get why it's not picking it up. I can see my mouse. See? Look, you can see my mouse right there floating around over here, but I can't see anything else. It's so strange. My mouse is there, but for some reason it doesn't want to pick up the actual. Let me try something here. Let me see if this works. No, that's stupid. I'm going to figure it out. I don't get why I was able to do it with Hearthstone and everything else. Hey, good morning. Let's see here. What is the cheapest light that you sell? Would be the mini. I think it's at $245, I think. I haven't heard of Ancient OG, but I do know that there's so many OGs out there, and they always come up with new ones. And I think any OG just about is a good strain. So that's what I figured out. If it's a true OG, it's going to be good. Okay, I got to figure out how to get you guys in here. Let's try that. Nope, still nothing. Can you guys see the mouse? Can you guys see my mouse moving right there? That little inside the thing. That little triangle moving around next to me to the right. See that? That's where you guys are at. But for some reason, it's not showing you guys. But no text, just the mouse. It's just black. I don't get it. It's strange. It's supposed to show whatever I tell it to show on the screen capture. Doesn't some type of sweeteners feed your if you're using beneficial bacteria, then yeah, you want to use some sort of sweetener. So if like you're in soil, for example, or if you're using the only time I use sugar is if I'm doing my organic cocoa, or I guess it's hydro organic. It's something I've been working on to where it's like it'd be the most laziest way to grow. You top feed with powder, and then you just water with water, and that's it. Just tap water. You don't have to use our water, nothing like that. Just regular old tap water. And I did it, and it worked really, really good. So I'm going to try to perfect that. And if I can perfect that and make it better than what I do now, than the drip system and stuff, then that'll be my new way of growing. Just straight dripping with water, and then top feeding like every week or 2 weeks with powder using Dr. Earth. It worked really good. If you do that, then that's when I use some sort of sugar. Usually it's a brown sugar or something. That way the bacteria. But you want to cook your cocoa if you do it that way. What I mean by cook your cocoa is taking the cocoa, putting the little bit of Dr. Earth in it that has the beneficial bacteria in it, and probiotics and all that kind of stuff, and then putting a little bit of sweetener in it, and stirring it all up, and just keep stirring up, every week or so, and just keep it kind of lukewarm, not too warm, about 77 degrees, somewhere around there, and leave it there for like a month. That basically what allows the bacteria to grow and multiply, that we have a nice healthy amount of bacteria in your cocoa. And then you just water it with water and top feed from there. And when you're top feeding with it, you're also adding more beneficial bacteria back in every single time. Yeah, definitely Skywalker OG. That one, I don't know. My girlfriend didn't like it as much as other OGs, but she's not a big OG fan. She likes sativas. Flora Nova or Lucas Formula Journal Hydroponics 3-part series. I have both Flora Grow and Bloom. So I personally like Nova better, and I personally recommend using Grow and Bloom. I get better results that way. But if you're doing autoflowers and you want them to finish faster, then just use Flora Nova Bloom the entire grow, and they'll finish faster. I decided to not smoke CBD strains right now again, because when I was smoking every day for a month, and then my anxiety kept getting, like, it took about a month and my anxiety started getting super bad, and I'm like, I wonder if that's why I got super bad. So I just stopped again for a while just to see if that's what it is. If it still stays bad and my body has plenty of time to recover from it, then I figured that's not the case, and I can now, like, whatever, I'll just smoke it. And if it's, the problem is that it didn't really help my well, it's not even anxiety, it's a post-traumatic stress disorder, but it didn't help it really. It helped it a little bit, but I probably have to smoke so much of it to actually help it, and I can't do high THC strains because I think THC would just make it worse, like it always does. Hey, cool, man. Yeah, definitely. I try to do live as much as possible. I'm trying to get it to where I can see you guys. I'm gonna figure this out. Hold on here. We're gonna figure this out. There's got to be a way to make this work. I'm gonna see if I can screen capture over here. You know what? Maybe I have to set the screen capture up before the stream. Oh, there it goes. Look at that. I have no idea why that just worked, but it worked. Let me see something here. Okay, I'm going to try that again, but I hope it works again. I don't know why I didn't really do anything different, but let's see here. Let's try this one more time. Let's try to get it all in here. Bam, there you go. All right. Now people that watch the video can see what questions you guys are answering. That's cool. I have no idea why that wasn't working before. Kind of weird. Okay, didn't really change much. Alright, so let's go back to questions. I do organic. What do you think about FRI and FPJ? I have no idea what those stand for. I'm trying to improve bud density. Any input on that matter? Yeah, actually, there's a lot of things you can do to, that's something I struggle with back some years back, and I'm like, is it all just strain, or and yeah, it is a lot strain, but you can make any strain denser. And some tricks that I've learned is obviously a good PK booster. And one thing I've noticed is that when I started using a PK booster with a higher potassium than a phosphorus, so that would be a higher K than P. And so, your PK booster, Monster Bloom and stuff like that have a super high P, that's the middle number, and not such a high K. Find one that's slanted the other way around. I think AN makes one, I believe. And I'm trying to think of another brand that makes one. But anyway, the brand I use is called Psychoflower, so you can go to psychoflower.com. But you can find Psychoflower nutrients. It's called Psychoflower Potash, and you'll notice it has a higher potassium than it does phosphorus. Once I started using that for my PK booster, I started seeing a lot denser buds. Once I started using my Spectrum, I know this sounds like a plug for my own lights, but this is the honest truth. Once I started using my Spectrum with the LEDs, I noticed a greater density in my buds. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, it's like twice as dense like all these other fucking dumb companies out there, but it was definitely denser. And then make sure you get your buds close enough to the light toward the end. So during that last 3 weeks, that's what I found is most important. You don't want to give them too much light. If you get them too close, they'll get fluffy. So you don't want to go over like 90,000 lux. No matter what kind of light you're using, don't go over 90,000 lux. With my lights, don't go over 1250 par. If you go over that, you can risk the chance of making your buds actually getting fluffier. Another thing is watch the plant, watch the density, because if you let it go too long, sometimes it'll also get fluffy. So. Well, I know you guys can all see the questions on your own screen, but if someone watches this later on, I want them to be able to see the questions that was that, you know, like I don't know if that makes sense, but I just want people, like, because after this is done, it's going to go on to the site, and so like, it's say a couple months later, someone watches this. Even though I'm reading the questions out loud, I'd still like them to be able to see what people are saying, the questions I missed and stuff like that, and just what people had said. Or does that show up either way in the video? Because I don't know if it does or not. Truck says, long-time subscriber, love the breakthrough you have been making with your lights, always checking out the 420 magazine. When did you decide to start making your own lights? It was about a year and a half ago. I decided to start making my own lights. Probably a little bit longer than that. I just didn't know. I was prototyping and stuff, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with them and what direction I wanted to go. All I know is I wanted to find an LED that could replace my Gavitas, and all the ones I tried didn't even come close, like not even close. I did like the quality. They gave me a slightly better quality, like there's other brands of LEDs than the Gavitas, barely. A little bit more density. That's one thing I really liked about the LEDs, but my yields were just not nearly as much. Like, it was just too much of a hit in yield. So I'm like, I need something that can still give me big fat nugs, nice big fat yields, but also give me the proper spectrum to get all that and to get the density and the betters. Anyway, so I looked around, tried different stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I'm intelligent. I'm just going to make the sun. I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel. Why try to use all this science? And I studied all the science and stuff for years about different spectrums and chlorophyll A and B and all that kind of stuff. But what I noticed is that none of that matters. What matters is the sun already works. Like, why try to create something new when the sun is already the best there is? Nothing beats the sun. So that's what I try. That's all I try to do. I just simply try to recreate the sun. And after I had that spectrum, I was like, "Wow, this is crazy." I was seeing double the par numbers per area squared, and I'm like, "That's crazy!" All from changing spectrum, and then some other things that I worked on to advance the lights. Using mostly flower weeds, dandelion, and whatever else in the yard. Yeah, I'm not too much. I never was into that. You know, that even my regular garden outside with tomatoes and stuff, I just throw dot to earth, and I have a drip system set up with my hose. I just make it super easy, and I just top dress them every now and again if they need it, and that's it. And I have a garden bed, and I have some extra plants outside and pots outside of it, and I just drip hoses, just the soak hoses rather, and that's how I do it. I just keep it simple, and things come out awesome, and it's all organic. So yeah, me and Spectrum King had some in the very beginning when I first came out. I don't know how this happened, why it happened, but when I first came out with my lights, it was I think it was because I blew every light away, like everyone away. When I first came out, like boom, I'm from 7 feet away. I'm pulling 300 par. No other light can do that. And and cover 4x3. That was the Perfect Sun 1000, which has now been superseded by the Cobb and the Goliath as far as higher yields. But nonetheless, I think it's just because it just blew everything away, and I think he took it personally. I never mentioned him, and then he mentioned me, so we had a little back and forth, and then I just said whatever. I don't care about the dude. Waste of time. But I can tell you that in the future, I'm going to do a side-by-side par comparison with his biggest light versus the Goliath, just to show that his hedge par is so lame. It just drops way off. Also, pure white light. I tried that too. Doesn't work very good. It works okay. If you look closely at the spectrum of a pure white LED light, doesn't matter what color, whether it's 3000K, 35K, 4000K. What you're going to notice that it doesn't have the deep blues and the deep reds. You have to look really closely and know what you're looking at to see, does it have that 430, 440, and does it have a lot of it? Does it have that 680 and have a lot of it? I noticed that those two numbers are super important all throughout veg and flower. And that blue, I noticed, I actually learned about the blue when one day I was growing, and I was like, I needed more light. and I was doing HPS. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw my metal halide in there. That's all I had, and that's a lot of blue, right? It's usually just using for veg. So I threw that in there. So now I had HPS and I had the metal halide both in the same tent, and my buds were super dense and they were big because of the HPS. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. And that's when I first started getting this idea that blue spectrum, that deep blue spectrum, is really important for dense buds. And yeah, so went from there. But I think that Spectrum King is a dishonest person. I've proven it. I have videos that actually show his lies, and I don't like that. But at least he's fair. He doesn't rip people off completely. Like, he's not. His prices are fair. I know what he pays for his lights. I know what it cost him, and his prices are fair. So unlike Kind and Black Dog and other companies, at least he's fair with his prices. He just kind of makes shit up, and I don't like companies that make shit up. All right, so when we prepare 1 gallon of nutrient water, how long can we keep it? 3 days to 1 week? It depends what nutrients. I noticed with Flora Nova, after like 5 days or so to 7 days, it starts smelling funky. And if something starts smelling funky, I'm not going to water my plants with it. I mean, it starts smelling like going bad funky. And so that's so if I'm using the Flora Nova, I do about 4 days, 5 days, how long I like it to last. But when I'm doing my drip system, I can't use that anyway. And I've really been liking this Cycle Flower. Now, I haven't used it long enough to say for sure that it works. I know it works, but I can't say it's better or worse yet. It's better in many ways so far, but I want to wait until I've grown several grows with it before I come to some final conclusion about it. But so far, I'm loving the Cycle Flower nutrients. They're absolutely amazing. And I like the fact that they have hardly no salt. And so, yeah. But when I do drip system, I think Flora Nova can handle it. But the problem with Flora Nova is it clogs my pumps way too fast. And I don't like sitting there cleaning my pumps out every week. It's really irritating. Let's see here. Anything special to keep in mind regarding autoflowers and 1,000 watt lamps, metal halide, HPS? I recommend doing metal halide or T5s if you have it for about maybe the first 15 days, and then switch to HPS. I found that for whatever reason, autos like that HPS. If you can do both, if you can do HPS and then throw a T5 in there just to have that extra spectrum in there, the extra blue spectrum, or throw a small metal halide in there, like a 400 watt metal halide, or even a 250 metal watt halide. You really just want that little extra blue in there. Or if you can get like a pure, 430 blue LED light made for aquariums or something like that, or whatever. Just try to get some extra blue light in there, and you'll definitely notice your autos will do better. And all flowers, actually, not just auto flowers. Thanks, Snow. You have successfully nailed it. Thank you. The new cob seems to be the best lights to date. I definitely like the cob, but it has ups and downs. Between two of them, I prefer the Goliath, because the Goliath does give bigger yields. Barely, though, just barely bigger yields. The main thing about the cob, though, is that it uses a lot more electricity, anywhere from 100 to 125 or so more watts, and that's quite a bit. If you're just doing 1 light, 2 lights, not a big deal. But if you've got a big, massive grow, the Goliath is the way to go. Like I just recently sold 60 lights to a big grow op in Canada, and they went with Goliath because it was clear that if you're gonna do 60 lights in one warehouse, or half, that's only like part of the warehouse. They're gonna continue getting more, but if you do that, you definitely want to use a light that uses the least electricity, but still gives you the the big yields, the 2 to 3 pounds per light. And recently, a guy I talked to a customer, and I'm not gonna name any names or anything like that. He's used to getting like 3.25 pounds off this one strain under his 1,000 watt HPSs. I'm like, that's awesome. That's like phenomenal, actually. This dude's got to be a phenomenal grower to pull that off. And he's like, yeah, I got like 2.4 with the Goliaths, and I'm like, that's fantastic, Like, yeah, it's not what he's used to, but he was using half the electricity and still got 2.4 per light. I'm like, throw 3 of those bad boys in 8x4, and you'll get the yields you're used to getting, and you'll still use 300 less watts. So, let's see, I use same for 2 minis. Not awesome, man. Yeah, 2 minis is great. Personally, I would rather grow with one dwarf star than two minis. Personally, I think I can get a bigger yield off of it, but maybe, well, I don't know. I'd have to try it. Maybe I might be able to get a bigger yield off two minis, or very, very similar yields. I'm thinking if I did two minis, I did the right kind of grow, I might be able to get a slightly, I don't know. I haven't done it, but based on the average par of two minis and dwarf star, I would personally do dwarf star. Have you tried Z7 to keep your pumps cleaner as well as your res? I haven't tried Z7. I have tried what's that one? Drip Clean. I tried Drip Clean, but honestly, now that I'm using the Cycle Flower, I don't have to use anything. My pumps stay nice and clean with it, pretty much for the whole grow. Every now and then I might have to just clean out the smaller recirculating pump because it has a little filter in it, and so every now and again I just pull that out, just spray it out with the hose real quick. But not, it's just hardly ever do I have to do that. So I found that that's my favorite thing about Cycle Flower, is just how little maintenance I have to do. So you've been using Earth Juice, Sea Blast powder the last 3 grows, works great. Are you shortchanging yourself? Should you try something different? I'm always trying something different. I like experimenting. Even though I found a method that works, and that's why I teach that method, and I say, hey, use that method. That's a proven method, like the method on my website. That's the method that works. Use it. Use for an overgrow. You can use other nutrients as well, but I know that method works for sure. It's been tried and true for years, and I used it. But I like experimenting, so I'm always trying different stuff, and I'm trying to make growing as lazy and easy as possible, but not compromising quality. And I really like the idea of organic, so that's why I'm still working on my hydro organic powder top feeding watering with just water, because it's like the most laziest way to grow, and you get the benefit of organic, and you also get awesome results. For all flowers, I prefer my LEDs. That's the honest truth. I wouldn't have built them if well, actually, it's not that I wouldn't have built them. I wouldn't have continued growing with them if they didn't do better than my Gavita. If I didn't grow with my LEDs, I would go back to growing with Gavita. Gavitas are amazing lights. Yeah, they produce a lot of heat, but if you have the way to deal with that heat, they are absolutely phenomenal lights. If someone wants big, fat, hard, dense nugs, they can just supplement with some blue LED light on top of the Gavita, or even I wouldn't do metal halide. That'd be way too much heat. But anyway, it works awesome. It's just a lot of electricity, a lot of heat to deal with, but they work great. Yeah, if I'm gonna do Mars hydro LEDs, I would steer everyone away from using anything less than their 1200. But if you use a 1200 and you keep it 18 inches away from your plants, you can pull about about anywhere from 10 to 11 ounces off 2 autos. So you can throw 2 autos underneath there and get about 20 to 22 ounces, which isn't too bad. It's nothing compared to what I get off 2 to 3 pounds off mine. It uses the same amount of electricity as my Goliath, by the way. Well, no, actually, no, it doesn't. I think they use like 540. And mine uses 575. So I'm using barely any more electricity, but I'm getting 2 to 3 pounds off of the Goliath versus a measly 20 ounces. So yeah, big difference there. What I think about Blue Planet nutrients. I haven't ever grown with them, so I can't really comment on it, but I have seen others that grew with it, and it works great. My personal feeling about I did try a lot of different nutrients over time, and as long as a nutrient is a well-balanced nutrient, then that's all you're looking for, and then it'll do the job. Then it's just a matter of, do you like it for your application? If you're hand watering versus if you're in a drip system, does it clog up your pumps, things like that. Yeah, definitely don't over-nutrient. I've been using right now with cycle flower. I've been using 1.2 to 1.3 EC during heavy flower, and only zero point 0.8 during veg to 1.0 EC. Thanks for answering the questions. Ain't no problem. If you use a 2-part series grow or bloom like A and B, do I need the PK boost? If I need PK, when do I need it? I personally use it about anywhere from 3 to 4 times throughout the grow. Right when they first start flowering, bam, I hit them with the PK booster, and I like using Cycloflower Potash, and then I hit them again when they're just starting to look like buds, and then I hit them again about 3 weeks before they're done. That way they really bulk up and really get denser. Sometimes I'll do it 4 times. Sometimes I'll just do it the whole entire time. I'll just keep adding a little bit into my res the entire flower process. Well, not the entire flower process. In the beginning, then I'll wait like 3 weeks, and then I'll just start putting in every single time I fill the res up again. Which is what I'm doing this grow. At least that's what I've been doing this grow, just to see if anything different happens. Botanical Care is what I'm growing with. I get 25,000 lux at 40 inches. 25,000 lux definitely isn't enough. You want about 50,000 lux minimum at the top of your buds, because you got to think it's got to penetrate down, and it gets less and less as it penetrates down. I highly recommend you want like 80,000 at the top of your buds, 80,000 lux at the top. That way, as it penetrates down, you'll get a deeper penetration, and your plant can easily handle 80,000 lux at the top. I don't know. I don't like Fox Farm. I think their nutrients is well enough balanced, and you can grow with it. I just don't like Fox Farm. Definitely don't like their soil. Hey, what's up, Cross? I'm LST. My autoflowers at 14 days too young. No, just do it very lightly. Just take the very top and just bend it over, and just make sure it's It's actually good when they're young like that because they're nice and rubbery. So just kind of bend the top over, and then the other branches will start coming up, and then let go of it and let that top go back up, become a top again, and then take all the other center ones and start bending those out when they get taller, and you'll get in this nice big bushy plant and short plant. No, I never did try the Kabloom with Florinova. I know that they one thing that I really took to heart from Jorge Cervantes was his idea of keep it simple stoner, which is a play on keep it simple stupid, KISS, and I found that the less you use is typically better. And then once you have that figured out and you got that nailed down, then you can start experimenting with Terpinator or whatever else you want to experiment with and see if it makes a difference. And I did that, and I tried Terpinator, and it made no difference. A big waste of money. You can still try it yourself and see that if I'm right or wrong, but it's just big waste of money. You can see, like right now with my grow, look how white that ultra white is. It's insane. It's whiter than most all photos I've seen, and it still has 20 days to go, so it's only going to get whiter. And I'm keeping it simple, stupid. All I'm using is regular bloom, regular grow, regular bloom, CalMag Plus, and then potash from my PK booster. That's it. Super simple. That's my whole line of nutrients. I don't throw sugar. I don't do any other bull crap. I just learned over the years just keep it simple, stupid, and it works great. Hey, I appreciate it, Cross. I don't know. I don't know in that one. Ward versus Kovalev. I don't know yet. I'm not gonna. I'll reserve my comment. The best way to contact me is just if you just contact me through my website, and then when I email you back, it should show you my email. That's the easiest way. But it's just my first and last name, and And I don't want to blast out there on this video because I don't want a bunch of people like emailing me my personal email. How often do you water cocoa and flower? I water and cocoa every single day from day one, from when they just have their false leaves. And this is truth. I kid you not. I take them out of the paper towel. If you know my method and how I grow, I take out of the paper towel. I put it in the rock wool. It only has only has the false leaves on it. Water it with 300 ppm and about 1 milliliter of CalMag as part of that. And I feed with bloom. For the first like 8 days, I feed with bloom, not grow. And then I go grow, and then I go back to bloom again. But anyway, literally the very next day, less than 24 hours later, true leaves are already on there, and they're long. They're not tiny little true leaves. True leaves, boom. And then the next day, the plant's like already like this big, like it's crazy. And at first I was scared to do that, but then I was like, I'm just going to do it, and it works. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. I hope I find the time to make my master autoflower grow book, because I really want to make it, and it'll have everything will be indexed, easy to find. Because video sometimes it's hard, to go find, hey, where exactly in the video did he say that one thing, and what was it, and you forget what it was I said. But with the book, you just index. There it is. You can bookmark stuff in a book. You can highlight stuff in a book, and so forth. So. I've never tried Advanced Nutrients full lineup for their regular, just their base nutrients. I did try their PK booster and I liked it, and it kept my res PK or not PK. It kept my res pH neutral, which I really liked. So I imagine that their base nutrients are also very good at pH neutral, and that's one thing I like about Cycle Flower as well. It's very pH neutral. So if you use RO water, it's super easy to keep your shit the same. Alright, so I just missed a bunch of people's questions. I think I can go back though, can't I? Let me see. Yeah, okay, hold on a second. Let me go back here real quick. No, it would not be stupid. It'd be awesome. Upgrade to 1000 watt. Do it. Let's see your thoughts on advanced nutrients. I just said that. Hey, I need help. I've got some powder on top of the plant. Should I be worried? Yes, you should be. Yeah, I would rather deal with spider mites than powdery mildew, to be honest. But one thing that does work good in controlling it, especially if you're in flower, is milk. So I use like 1 to 5 parts. So that is 1 part milk, 5 parts water, and then just spray the shit out of them every single day, and do that for a few days, and then for about maybe 4 days, and then just spray them every 3 days, and they'll be fine. How many mils of grow from seed? I don't understand that question. I'm not sure what you mean by how many mils of grow from seed. You might have mistyped. Let's see here. Okay, I think I'm caught back up again. Good. Let me go back over here and see, make sure it's still looking like okay, cool. There we go. Hey, no problem, Don. There's a 600 watts Mars LED for sale. It's pretty cheap. I might grab it for 80 pounds. I wouldn't grow with the 600 watt Mars personally. So I think it's a waste of time. I would rather spend that money and grow with a 400 watt HPS. You'll get better results. If you're going to do a Mars, don't do anything under the their Mars 1200. That's just my personal from personal experience. That's what I'd recommend. Let's see your. I know I want to write the book. I really do. I'm just trying to free up some time, and right as I'm starting to free up some time, with not having to deliver so many of my lights. Like for example, I got a California warehouse that does my, or Hong Kong that does it for international, and then California that does it for here in the United States. And so that's cool. That's one less light I have to ship myself, and I just got sick of shipping that thing because it's so heavy. But the more I'm freeing up time. Now I'm going to go right out and most likely either acquire another brick and mortar business. I'm going to take over one and buy one, or I'm going to buy a building and lease and rent it out. So it's like Right when I free up time, I'm just like, boom, I'm going to go get more money. I'm going to find another avenue to make more money because I just want to be able to retire, get a bunch of money and then retire. But yeah, so, but I'll try to make time for it to write that damn thing. Write the damn book, Neil. I'll do it. What soil would you recommend? What I look for in soil, personally, I don't like growing in soil. I prefer coco. That's what I teach. But I do use soil outside for my regular garden. Sometimes I'll do coco out there, and I'll mix coco in it throughout the year. But when I do, I just use Wilco soil. It works great. When I look for in a soil is that it's very has some bark in it maybe, or it has some rice holes, or just has something to make it to where it drains easily. I want it to where when I pick it up when it's soaking wet, I can pick it up and it doesn't feel like it's super heavy. And I can put it in a pot, and then the pot will drain fast and it won't stay super heavy. If you need to add amendments to it to do that, then do that. But yeah, so whatever soil you do use, I just recommend to use one that doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it. That way you can control the nutrients yourself by adding it to it. And top dressing with powder nutrients like Dr. Earth or something. If you want to go organic, I love that stuff for outdoors or just for organic growing. But yeah, that's what I recommend for soil. The brand's not so important. It's really just what's in it. Hey, no problem, man. Yeah, pick up the 400 HPS all day long. I would rather. I'm telling you, you'll get bigger yields, and yeah, just definitely do that. Yeah, definitely. The 6.9 head formula works for anything. Works for autos. It works for any strain. I used it for a long time, and it works great. There's definitely no reason not to try it at least. When should you transplant from plastic pot? Well, it just depends. If you're going to transplant, I don't recommend transplanting autos personally, but I imagine you're talking about regulars. Is just obviously when you start seeing roots starting to come out the bottom, they're probably ready for transplant. You can always test it by seeing if like kind of wait till they dry a little bit and then kind of just twist the pot and kind of start pulling it out, and you just kind of look at it, and if as you're pulling it out, if it doesn't stay together, just let it go right back in. You want to make sure that when you pull it out, it stays together. It keeps its shape very easily, and then you can transplant. Some people like to take their knife or something that's been sterilized and just kind of score it down the edges on 4 edges. They swear that it helps the roots grow faster. A lot of what I learned was just through trial and error, a lot of experimentation, and then also I read a lot and stuff and looked at people's grows, what they were doing, and then I'm like, hey, what's this guy doing? He's getting excellent results. What's that guy doing? I kind of use that kind of or what's that called? That NLT form of basically mimicking other people, and looking at what they're doing. Read a lot of Jorge Cervantes and stuff like that. Some of the stuff I like what he said, and I used it. So I kind of picked from different people, and I'm like, okay, what's this guy doing, and why is it working? What's this guy doing? Why is this working? The 6.9 head it's a variation of the Lucas formula, and basically he adjusts for mostly the lack of magnesium by modifying it a little bit by adding Epsom salts. But yeah, so it's basically just a slightly modified Lucas formula. It works really good. I used it for a while, and it gets good results. But I like what I do now better. Super dank strain that's easy to grow. There's a lot of them. Incredible Bulk is the first one that comes to my mind though, by Dr. Incredible. Their photo period, not their auto. Their auto sucks, but their photo period, Incredible Bulk is absolutely amazing. Super easy to grow. It's resistant to powdery mildew and all sorts of things. It's really hard to go wrong with that thing. It gives good yields, nice and frosty, super stony, has nice smell to it, good flavor. It's got everything you'd want, and it's easy to grow. So definitely noob user friendly for sure. is there really no difference between regular plastic pots and air pots? I have seen that. Yeah, I go back and forth, and I like to see what happens between plastic pots versus air pots. I think with air pots, I can definitely say now over years of going back and forth and testing them with the same strains and stuff, that air pots do give you bigger plants versus the amount of medium that you're using. So you can get away with using less medium in an air pot and get bigger yields versus a plastic pot. There are sometimes though that I use plastic pots, and there are reasons why I do that sometimes because of the style of grow that I'm doing or something. But most likely you'll see me using air pots most of the time. And I did the Walmart bag thing just out of curiosity, and it works just like an air pot. They're 50 cents. They hold about 10 gallons of medium, which is different than what it's different than liquid. They're two different measurements. In UK, they would just take 10 and times it by 2.6, and then you'd have the amount of liters, or 2.6. It'd be right around, I can't remember what it comes out to. 7 gallons would be about 18 liters, and I can't remember exactly what the 10 gallon medium equals to in liters right now. But just times 10 times 2.6, and it should give the right answer. Let's see here. Use milk throughout your grows. That's good. I think milk is just a great milk and water mixed together also works as a good foliar feeding. So. Have you ever used Bodhi seeds? I haven't used Bodhi seeds. I have grown from Buddha seeds, which I like a lot. I like their Auto Magnum the best out of all the stuff they have to offer. Very, very short plant and nice big thick nugs, and smells skunky, and it's good. But sometimes it doesn't. There's some phenos that don't have much smell, and there's other phenos that of that strain that have a really good strong smell. You can use liquid pretty much anything. My question is just why do you want to use bone meal? I mean, I imagine you're trying to go just use all organic. If you're going all organic, then you might as well just use powdered bone meal. Oh, the bag looks incredible. Bulk is amazing. It's a really good looking strain. Yeah, I liked it a lot, and it's actually, if I had to pick a strain to grow, that might be one of them I might stick with as just a crop type. If I was going to get into the whole making money off marijuana thing, that would be definitely a crop I would consider, or not crop, but a strain I would consider. Yeah, Royal Queens. If you mean Royal Queen seeds, then yeah. Matter of fact, that's my world record. It's from Royal Queen seeds. It's their Auto Critical, 2.9 pounds off of their Auto in a 18-liter pot, so not very big pot. And I couldn't believe it. It was like a tree. I can't believe it got so big. And it was 18-liter pot. That was just some weird, I think, freak of nature thing. My second biggest one was their Northern Lights, which is, I think it was either 14.2 ounces or 14.8 ounces, which is huge for an Auto. Rick Johnson, no, it's not. You can totally do that. Mid-flower, you can do it. What I do recommend, though, is when you first get the 1,000 watt, raise it higher than the 600 watt. Make sure it's up higher. Matter of fact, I would put it as high as you can for about 4 days and then start lowering it. Oh yeah, Northern Lights, good yields. Like I said, I got 14 ounces out of it one time. Well, actually, I think it was almost 15 ounces. And then 11 ounces, 10 ounces. I mean, I can consistently get 10 ounces or more off that plant, or every once in a while it might drop down to 8 or 9 ounces. But yeah, it's a really, really good. It's a good strain too. It's stony. It's decently frosty. And I find that with strains, it's if you want something that's super sticky and frosty, it's not going to be as good of a yielder. Like super, super high quality marijuana, like Gorilla Glue, it's not a big yielder, but it's freaking awesome marijuana. But so you have to find that middle ground. If you just want just pure the biggest, the biggest buds you can get, the biggest yields you can get, go with anything with big bud in it. Big bud times Northern Lights, big bud times White Widow, or go with Critical Plus or something like that. It's not going to be the best weed in the world, but it's going to be huge, huge yields. And the only reason why I would do something like that is if I'm just going to make it into shatter. If you want to actually smoke it, I wouldn't recommend doing that. I'd recommend finding that middle ground if you want big yields, but also you definitely want good flavor and stuff like that too. So I found that Laughing Buddha is a good in between. It's an okay yielder, but it's just absolutely phenomenal marijuana. It's a mix of original Thai strain and a Jamaica strain. It's just crazy good. It's by Barney Farms. It's won a lot of awards. I'm growing it right now. That's actually what I'm doing. My photo grow is mostly all Laughing Buddha right now, and that's the one on a 5x5 tent with one Goliath. And I'm looking like I'm going to get the 3 pounds. I really think I'm going to get it. Yeah, vertical grows are kind of cool. I experimented with that a couple times, and I kind of liked it. It was kind of interesting. And another one I did was kind of cool is vertical grow. I took two light bulbs. One was a metal halide, and the other one was HPS. And I had them on top of each other like this, so almost like they were one, like a pole. And then I took turners, like spin turners, and I put several plants around those two vertical bulbs, and so they were turning around like this slowly. Lazy Susans, yeah, that's what they're called. So it was electric Lazy Susans, and I had a bunch of plants going all the way around. I got them as close as I could without, stressing them out. And because they're on Lazy Susans, I can get them super close. And that was one of the coolest vertical grows I ever did, and I actually got a really good yield out of it. It's kind of a pain in the butt setup, but it's something I think I might want to try again, because you can really utilize light that way. But I'm trying to think of a way to do I've been thinking of different ways to invent a vertical LED light. I know they have the ones that are like octagon shaped, they got LEDs on each side, and that might work with my spectrum. But I'm trying to just think of some new state-of-the-art way with proper reflecting to make a vertical LED light. I think that'd be awesome. All right, let's see here. What do you feed your outdoor crops? I feed my outdoor crops with Dr. Earth. I use the green bag, so the regular green bag for tomatoes, and I use that for my garden too. But when I'm growing weed outdoors, same thing. I use that, and then I use the pink bag. I can't remember what it's called right now. I think it's called Flower Girl or something like that. I use that for once they go into flower. I also use Lagmanite once they go into flower. I use other things too. Anyway, I have a video. Just look up my video called Hydro Organic, and I show some of the stuff. At least the stuff I use that particular grow. I actually use some more stuff now, and I want to make a new video to show where I've come with it. Lazy Susan's your ex-wife. That's funny. Yeah, definitely. I use far reds in all my lights. All my reds have all the far reds. So a lot of 680 in my lights, and a lot of infrared, and also far blues. Super important, I think. And that's what my the sun has it, so my lights have it. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up here soon. Time is it? It's 4:30 now, or no, 4:15. Sorry, 4:15 a.m. my time. Let's see here. I'll answer a few more questions here. If your yields go with heavyweight seeds, fast and vast, or too fast, too vast. I've wanted to grow their strains. I just haven't tried them yet, and that's kind of what I've been doing for a while now. That's what my my 8x4 tents to be for. Is one half will be for maybe just growing 4 big plants or just 1 big plant sometimes, just different experiments. The other half is to be trying out different strains. And right now it's trying out a bunch of Mephisto genetics, and I'm liking some of them. Other ones I'm not liking so much as far as their bud structure and how they grow. But yeah, so the heavyweight seeds is definitely one. The fast with the fast and fast, I really want to try that. So that's definitely on my list of trying. There's so many autoflowers out there, it's insane. But I want to try them all so that you don't have to. Hey, that can be a new slogan. I'm gonna try them all. I'm gonna grow them all, so you don't have to. That way you know what's good and not. Called Thin Mint Cookie. Yeah, that's probably Girl Scout cookies and something else mixed together. I've advanced nutrients, but I only got 10 PDSY, 20 plants. I have no idea. There's so many. Like, that's like asking, I got in a boxing match. Why did I get knocked out? I mean, there's so many factors that I would need to know. There's so many things that could have caught. Could have been heat stress. Could have been light leaks. There could have been the wrong pH. It could have been all kinds of things. I haven't even tried Mammoth P. I just really don't buy into a lot of this crap that they sell out there. I'm not saying it's crap. I'm just saying that I've tried so much stuff over the years and learned that just keep it simple. My base nutrient, my CalMag Plus, my PK booster, done. That's what works for me, and it's simple, and I get fantastic results. But I do want to try Mammoth P just for the hell of it, just to see. And I'll do a true control test. And to do a true control test, you have to have clones all from the same mother, and you have to have at least 3 of each that you're doing. One with Mammoth P, one without, and they all have to be in the exact same room under exact same lights. That way they're exact same environment. Everything has to be as controlled as possible, and then it has to be a non-biased person to actually to judge it, not you. Because you're always going to be biased, so you have to have someone that's not invested in your grow to judge, did Mammoth P make a difference? The 2.9 pound was grown indoor. It was grown indoor, one autoflower plant. And then they were all grown indoor, actually. All my biggest autos are grown indoor. I've grown autos outdoor, but the problem with the outdoor is the light changes so much. It's hard to find a time of the year to finish your autos with all the same timing. But I've grown some huge autos outdoors, but still they only yielded like 6-7 ounces, and that's not very much for how big they were. I haven't tried coco nutrients yet. It's one on my list that I do want to try, but I've seen results that other people have done with them, and it's definitely a well-balanced nutrient, and it's one that I would have no problem recommending someone to grow with. People have asked me, hey, all I can find in my area is the can of cocoa. Should I use it? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. It's very well balanced. Hey, cool, man. Thanks, Frosty. Appreciate it. Unfortunately, the live show is just about to end because, like I said, it's now it's 4:19 in the morning for me. It's time for me to start relaxing and stuff. I love Dutch Passions autoflowers. Now, when I say that, I mean I love the fact they're so stable. I know exactly what I'm going to get every single time. But a lot of them, even though they're great yielders and awesome structure, most every one of them lacks smell. They don't have a very strong smell. It doesn't matter how you cure, what you do. Most of them just don't have a strong smell. That kind of sucks. But they are pretty stony. Like Think Different's pretty stony. Ultimate's okay. Some of their newer stuff though is looking very promising. Like the Auto Colorado Cookies, but that's a new one by them. I'm growing it right now. That thing looks so frosty. I've never seen their strains look like that. So that's really cool. But it's not as big of a yielder. Like I said, it's a give or take. You want more frost, less yield. You want big, fat, huge head size nugs. You're not going to get like super stony, awesome tasting shit. Hey, what's up, man? Crackling Ice. Unfortunately, I'm just about to be heading off now. I know it's a bummer, but I gotta lay down and watch some TV or something. Do something with the fiance. Someone asked, why can't we use Miracle-Gro? Well, you can use it. You can pee on your plants if you want to. You can use dog shit. I mean, You can really you can just throw your shit in a ditch by the river and grow weed. The main reason not to use Miracle Grow is one, it's not a very balanced nutrient, at least not for marijuana, and two, it's a very hot nutrient, and it's really really hard to flush that hotness out. So you're gonna have weed that tastes like shit, and I mean you got to really really flood that crap to get that out of there. Those are two really big reasons. One, it's not going to perform as well as a well balanced nutrient, and then two, it's really hard to get out of your plant. Hey, no problem, guys. Hey, double peace. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'm gonna try to do this more often. I just, whenever I'm just kind of, hey, I got some time, and I'm just gonna do a live video. That's kind of how I have to do it. I don't have the schedule where I can kind of be like, hey, tomorrow at this time, because I probably won't be there. That's I can't make schedules. I suck at schedules. I have hard enough time to make it to my fucking doctor's office when I'm supposed to, and that's important because I have to get my Klonopin, and that's the only reason why I make it. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't make that either. But yeah, so definitely, it'll probably just be random times. Sometimes it'll be in the morning, sometimes it'll be at night, and yeah. But hey, you guys have a good one. And if you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask them to me. Either one of my websites, either growpotsheepy.com or perfectsunled.com. Just click on that contact link, bing, and that will take you to how you can ask me questions. And I answer most every question. I really do. Sometimes the system is fucked up and I don't get the email. So if I don't answer, just try to email me again through my site, and I should get it. But yeah, so I always try to answer everyone's questions. Sometimes I spend 20 minutes a day just answering questions because I'm dedicated. That's why. I don't have to answer those questions. It's not like I get paid for that, but I do it because I like to help people. All right, guys. Again, double peace. This time for real. All right. It was fun hanging out with you guys. And right, 2, 1.